welcome back. So today we are canning up tomatoes. These are tomatoes that I partially processed. So I went ahead and peeled, cored, whatnot, and then threw them in quart bags and froze them. I believe I put them through a strainer. Not positive. They could just be crushed. Actually, I think these are just crushed, now that I think about it. So they've been peeled, cored, and crushed. And then instead of canning them, I threw them in the freezer. So we are going to go ahead and process these finally. It's going to be a little different than a normal crushed tomato because these are plain. But I also have 2 quart bags of, I did a video on them earlier this year. I will try to link it in the description box. But they were a bunch of cherry tomatoes from the garden that I added onion and basil and garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, and just let all of them roast together and then threw them in quart baggies and threw them in the freezer. So right now I'm trying to heat it up and I'm going to kind of condense it down a little bit. That way we can use it as a base for either tomato soup or a marinara because the flavors are going to be right regardless. I also have some fresh basil to throw in, so it's going to be really good. Or I could use it as just a tomato sauce, a flavorful tomato sauce. So I hope you stick around to see what we do. It's just another way to can tomatoes because you can never have enough ways to can tomatoes. And guys, if next year's garden is anything like what this year's was, and with the seeds that I just ordered, I'm going to have tomatoes for days. Because I'm pretty sure I have at least 30 different types of tomatoes. Yeah, at least. So, that's I digress. But I'm going to get this heated up and then I'll bring you back. Okay. So this has been going for a couple hours now, and I have let it reduce down quite a bit actually because I had about 8 quarts and little over 8 quarts of tomatoes. And like I had said, they were either just crushed, peeled, cored, and crushed, or they were whole cherry tomatoes that I had done with other vegetables and olive oil. So regardless, there was stuff that needed to be reduced down and it wouldn't all fit it first. So I let it reduce, added more, let it reduce, and then I also added in 2 cups, that's what this is, the brown, 2 cups of fresh basil. And I've just been letting all of this just simmer. I think I know what I'm going to call this. I'm going to call it tomato basil base. Because that's essentially what it is. It has a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, like I said, olive oil, and a tiny bit of onion. But all in all, it's tomatoes, and then you smell the basil. And there was basil in the roasted tomatoes. So, roasted cherry tomatoes. And these are all different types of tomatoes. They're my cherry tomatoes, my pear tomatoes, my black tomatoes, everything. So now that it is reducing down pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and puree this. I'm just going to take an immersion blender, puree it all into a nice consistent sauce, and then see where I'm at on whether it's too loosey-goosey, whether I want to thicken it up a little more, and then we're just going to can it. And it's as simple as that. You wouldn't need to thicken it up anymore if you didn't want to. I just want to go ahead and have a thicker sauce type consistency because I'm either going to use this to make a pasta sauce or to do a tomato soup type soup. So that is what I'm going to do next. Okay, so this is to the consistency that I actually wanted it after pureeing. So I'm good. I have it on low. I'm going to get ready and have my jars washed, hot, ready, waiting for me, and get my canner going. With this, I'm going to err on the side of caution. With a marinara sauce that is in the ball canning book, the new one, and I have it linked down below, it has water bath canning instructions, adding acid to the pot before loading up your jars. However, I forgot that I added chicken stock to the bags that had little cherry tomatoes in them before I froze them. So with that being said, it goes more along with the,
Mommy,
yes baby, the roasted tomato soup recipe in the ball canning book. And that one has the same vegetables that are in this: chicken stock, basil, and then it also has wine. Wine is acidic. I do not remember if I added any wine to this or not. I don't think I did. So I did add half a cup of lemon juice to this, because with the marinara sauce, you added either 2 teaspoons of citric acid or half a cup of lemon juice for this amount. So that's what I did, just to err on the side of caution. It's not going to change up the dish at all. It is delicious. I have tried it, and I'm going to get ready and can this up. I just wanted to let you guys know how I came to the type of processing time that I did, because I want everyone to be able to make their own educated decision. Don't just go off of someone on YouTube. So for pints, it's going to be 50 minutes. For quarts, it would be 60 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. I'm going to see what jars I have readily available, and that will decide how I'm going to be canning this up. Okay, so I actually had pints available. So these are going to go in pints. So that'll be 50 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. So make sure, especially since where I'm at, it is winter, you want hot jars for your hot liquid. And my house is cold, so until I heat my jars up, they are very cold. Now you want 1 inch of headspace. So that's right there on that lip. And since this is all liquid, we do not need to debubble. So now we're just going to wipe the rim of our jars, and then lids and rings, fingertip tight, and they will go into a water bath canner. That is what you hear right there. Alright guys, so here is the finished product. I got exactly 13 pints. I mean, scraping the pan, 13 pints. And it smells and tastes amazing. So these went for 50 minutes, 10 pounds of pressure, 1 inch of headspace, and that's for my altitude. All of them are sealing, popping, doing their thing. I really hope you try this recipe. It's not only great to have on your shelf, but just to make a pot of soup. Have it, quarter it. It's so easy. This is technically a tomato basil soup, but it could also be a pasta sauce base. It's very versatile, and all it is tomatoes, some seasonings, and then olive oil and a little bit of chicken broth. If you want an actual tomato soup recipe, you can, I have one of those. I will link down below. And then I also have where I roasted tomatoes. I have that linked down below as well. And this is just tomatoes that I threw together in a pot and canned them up. And now there's something absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.